working on the Trabantamino, which is part of this kind of larger body of work called Body Work. I was photographing in Central America, in Panama City, on the fringe of the old US Canal Zone. And what I was thinking about at that time was the transformation of the body and the ways in which we make extraordinary efforts to belong. How do we find a way to belong in the face of societal resistance, in the face of a majority culture that doesn't agree with the way that one lives? And so I started to think about what it would mean to be able to continue to look at things that I'm curious about, places where I don't belong, but an area where I actually had a chance of becoming a meaningful member, even if I were an unusual one. And so I started thinking about cars and the way cars stand in so much for who we are. Many people have a very strong connection to their automobiles. Many people work on cars. Many people customize cars. And much like works of art, these cars, oftentimes, the decisions that are made generate meaning. They connect people to a history of customization, of rituals, of being in the garage, passing information from one generation to the next of car workers. It's very religious, and it really interested me. And I thought, okay, this is something I'd like to be a part of, being also someone that was thinking about the body and thinking about transformation, so that kind of auto body seemed very interesting to me. I went to Germany on a fellowship at Academy Schloss Solitude, and I learned about the Trabant, which is a very interesting car from East Germany that was produced from 1959 to 1991, so mostly during the socialist era. And it's a car with very few moving parts in the engine. I think the engine, it was a two-stroke engine. I think it had 7 moving parts. And the idea was that this car was a car that would be easy to repair, very quick to manufacture, inexpensive to manufacture, and that everyone could have one. So this car, when I was in Germany, was becoming kind of a thing of the past, because East Germany was absorbed into a capitalist model. And this was kind of a symbol of the past, but it was a symbol of, I feel like, East German resourcefulness, collectivism, kind of DIY, fix it, do it yourself. And I think, look, really a very beautiful, simple car. And then I wanted to transform it into a US-American vehicle, the Chevrolet El Camino, which I feel has that same kind of optimism connected to it in terms of the American image, the American narrative, the American dream. Like, who are we? And that car, I think, embodies our desires to see ourselves in this country as able to be whoever we want to be, that we can be anything, we can be everything at once. The transformation I wanted to, again, of the body that I wanted to explore was the transformation of the body of this Trabant into the body of an El Camino, the body of a socialist car into the body of a capitalist car, my body, my Colombian American body, into a counterculture of lowriding, which is primarily Chicanx, and me working at body shops, really with mentors, learning the trade, sitting there for 10 years, working at shops 6 days a week, picking up the skills. And so being a woman, I had I had an opportunity to try out several parts of the kind of counterculture that we call low riding, or parts of custom car culture. And so I really could try to belong through a lot of different avenues, one being the car builder, but also being the owner. And there is a long tradition of pinup photography that accompanies cars and the representation of cars, and I wanted to participate in that as well. And I think particularly to the history of lowriding, that rich history really has to do with really setting the tone and the image and the attitude for a counterculture. And so I also wanted to transform some of those narratives. Can we transform the narrative of the bikini model into something powerful? Can we transform this Trabant into a US American car and into a capitalist car? And how can that happen in terms of all these things being, remembering where they came from and staying authentic, being true to themselves, to each self?